Intuitively, we all know this. Intuitively, we all know that the majority of traders cannot win. But in practice, most people don't act that way. That's why they're not the winners. You have to be contrarian to win. You have to buy when nobody wants to buy. You have to sell when nobody is thinking even of selling. But there's different kinds of contrarian. When you're buying in a bear market, right, when your dollar cost averaging, say, into Bitcoin in a bear market, then you're actually not that contrarian after all. Because what's happening in a bear market is that the people that lost money during this bear market, they simply don't look at crypto anymore. They might have sold everything already, or they still hold maybe parts of their assets, but they're not really following crypto anymore, right? They don't want to look at the losses. So what's actually happening is when we are at a bottom in a bear market, what's happening is that there's simply no attention. It's not negative attention. It's not that everybody says Bitcoin will go to zero. Some do, but the majority doesn't. Most people simply don't care anymore. So when you're buying at the bottom and you're talking to other people that are still in crypto, you're actually talking to many people that agree with you. Most people in a bear market that still follow crypto will agree with you that crypto at that point in time is cheap. And so you're not really a contrarian. You're a contrarian in the grand scheme of things of all of investors, but in the universe of active investors, you're not that contrarian. So it's relatively easy to buy the bottom because everybody is rationalizing their way into the asset, in this case, say Bitcoin, being very cheap. This is very, very different for the bull market. In the bull market, it's peak attention. In the bull market, everybody says the price is continuing to rise. In the bull market, you have to really be contrarian to sell when others aren't. Why is the price rising in the bull market? Why does it continue to rise? It rises because the people that buy at those elevated prices, they think it will rise further. Right? That's why it continues to rise. People think when Bitcoin is at 60K, that the 100K is relatively certain. That's why we even have transactions at 60K. That's why we can even rise to 60K. But very, very few people actually call the top in the end. Very few people actually sell the top because most people think we're going to continue further on our merry way up. So to sell when we are high is super, super tough. You really have to be contrarian. You're not just contrarian regarding all of investors. You're contrarian even with all the people that you communicate with the people that are in crypto. If you're following different YouTubers in the last cycle and you look at those older videos, most people thought we go to 100K, maybe 200K. Very few people thought already at 60K that we might have been heated. Even though a lot of indicators actually told us that some long-term holders were selling, etc. But once you are in this moment, right? Once you have already ridden the wave for quite a bit, once you've already done a few multiple X on a few small altcoins, you don't want to hear it, right? You don't want that the party is over at some point. You want this to continue forever, right? You don't want to wait another 3-4 years for this to happen again. And so there is this confirmation bias at play as well, right? I don't want it to happen, and so I don't see it. And then I talk to all other people, they also don't see it. And so getting yourself over this emotional hedge, even though a lot of numbers might look red, they might flash that we are heated, getting over this emotionally and to actually sell is very, very tough, especially to sell large amounts. Because I've talked about this several times here as well. When you're buying in, when you're dollar cost averaging in, you might be dollar cost averaging just with $1,000 every month. But when then Bitcoin, say, 5x's, and you've done the dollar cost averaging, say, over 2 years, right? You maybe have 25K that you dollar cost averaged in, Bitcoin makes a 5x, now you're at 125K. Now, take that profit, right? Sell 125K or sell just half of that, right? Sell 60-something K. When normally you're only buying for 1,000K. So the proportions, the sell amounts are way higher than what you're used to usually with your trading amounts. And that makes it super hard as well. So not only does everybody say, hey, Bitcoin will continue to rise, not only do you have to really be contrarian much more than in a bear market, you also need to have that conviction way, way stronger compared to when you're buying, because the amounts are way more elevated. And all of those factors combined lead to most people, the vast majority of people, riding the entire bear market. So many people have paper gains in bull markets. The vast majority of them will not convert those paper gains into real gains. Most people are too scared. They want the party to continue. They've got confirmation bias. They talk to others. They follow their group. And that can work to a degree in the bear market if you surround yourself with the right people. It is much harder in a bull market because people do not want the party to stop. So we all know Bitcoin is going up quite a lot. I am still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm not yet selling, but I might now be part of the majority that also doesn't take profit, right? But I'm looking very closely to my models that I'm trusting for a long time. And I will sell when those models turn red, even though most people will not want to hear it. I can already anticipate. Once I say, I'm selling, I'm getting out, most people will say, are you out of your mind? Everything couldn't be greener. Momentum is super bullish. Why are you now exiting? And yeah, then you simply just have to stand your ground. And it is very tough. It's not easy whatsoever. It was a very emotional decision for me last time to sell at around the 60K, a bit under 60K. This is where I exited half of my portfolio in the last bull run. So I didn't pick the top. I sold after the top, but still I sold quite nicely. I realized quite a lot of gains, and most people haven't. And yeah, try to be part of the minority. Think about those psychological aspects beforehand. Think about the triggers that you will follow no matter what to find your exit and to sell when most people won't. If you enjoyed this, feel free to give this a like. It will help the channel grow, and feel free to subscribe as well. I publish videos regularly. Cheers!